I think for my money, I'm calling it the World Junior Cup. So great accolades for Jake Lewis out there as we make our lineup. And looking back here, 34, Dan met him in there. No 23, I don't think this time. And I didn't spot him as I went down through the shed as well for Rex Mincher. Special thanks to Rex for being my taxi on Friday night as well. So an all-round nice guy. But he's missing, but good news that Dan is back for that GP 28. A bit of a jump there, but hey, at least they got going. And look for 28 and Shane Richardson. It's a real challenge to get off that line. And he just had the jump. He was aggressive with the start. He comes from an ex-motocross background, like the likes of Damon Rees as well, but he actually just couldn't put the drive down to it. And of course, when your front wheel comes in there for that split second, you've got to drop the power, get the front back down and go, so he couldn't get that drive out through there, but at least he's still in a very good fifth place there at the moment. As we go to it, we can see Cam Hudson, we can see his distinctive wear, and I love it when somebody stands out in the crowd. The Warren Hudson aerials and cables man there. Look at that on the inside, the Canterbury man. Come on, Canterbury through on the inside. Yes, makes it stick as well. Love to watch that. Great work out there. Cam Hudson going straight to the #1 position. So good work that Cam's made his way up there. And he actually admitted that he has very poor starts as well. But I tell you what, at least he's made this one go through with at least only a second into Flexiplas, which is the top left-hander at the end of the front straight, and another 4 corners later, and he's in the lead. So here we go, back with Spider Staples and our Dynoworks 600cc super stock coming at you loud and proud at the Underground New Zealand Grand Prix. Spider, from here on now, mate, we're talking the Grand Prix titles, give away all of the build-up. Whatever's happened before, it means nothing. This is right on the line.
Well, it's still national points, and great to see Dan met him back out here after a massive crash at the end of the front straight, and he took an early lead there. He took a lead out of turn 1 there, went round the outside of Cam Hudson. Cam Hudson reeled him back in. I understand there's a little bit of controversy about the last 2 halves of the race. Normally what happens when a race is halved, you get half points, but the regridding should have been where you finished in the first part of the race, but it wasn't. It went back to the weekend's gridding, so there was a discussion about that. They talked about running the race again, but I think the officials have decided to leave it as it is. But already a good lead there by Cam Hudson. 0.7 a second as they go over the start-finish line for the first time, and it is no prize and surprises that he's the quickest man out there. Look at the number of 38. 38, remember it is the first lap, so it is a high lap time, but 2, 4, 6 top riders there in the 38s, and then we go to Ted Collins from Australia on the letter T on the 40, on 140s and that, and Ted Collins had...
remembering that counts the stationary start as well, because it's the first lap Spider, so that is pretty quick, and that's what we're talking about when it comes down. This is Grand Prix title, so throw away the rest of it. This is where it comes to it. Look at it. Is this Cam Hudson doing a Sloane Frost lookalike? Because he's just storming away from this, and there he goes to try and take an advantage. I think he's learned something here, to go early and go hard, go fast, and just make that break. Then he's only got to do the same time, have the same tyre wear as everybody else after that, because he's done the hard yards early in the race.
Yeah, maybe that's the situation. Right now we've got Yamaha, followed by, that's a Suzuki in second spot, and then we go to, I think that's Alex Phillips there, third. Fourth is a Honda, Damon Rees. Fifth is the 28 machine of Shane Richardson, and that looks like Jeremy Holmes here on the number 10 bike in sixth spot. A couple of other machines. Is that Roy Walker Holt on the 12 bike way up there? Had a DNF in the first part of in the warm-up lap, and that was Tom Lambridge, who was on the number 18 bike in the Supersport B class as well. So Supersport.
The other thing is Seth, who we had up here is to commentate before. He actually had a blown clutch, so he came in here early when I thought in fact he was the one out. So look for the number 11, and he's also given a new clutch, the number 28. They've done a change as well. Shane had just mentioned that he was having some clutch trouble. Seth said, well, I brought 2 of them. I'll only need 1 from this point because there's only 1 race in the day. So he's given the other one. So there's just been 2 clutch changes made on the Kawasaki's since the last race.
That's a great move by Seth. And while we're on that subject, when Roman Stone came out from Switzerland to compete in the Suzuki Series, had a massive crash at the Manfield round. And where do you get the parts in an urgent hurry for these bikes to fix them? Well, they went to Seth Devereaux in Southland, and he ripped out all his forks and all that sort of thing and lent them to him. While I was just talking about that, there was a massive move there by Alex Phillips. Incredible move. Went through the icon corner and outbraked Dan Mettam, and he's pulled about 10 bike lengths there over and above Dan Mettam. And while Dan Mettam's sitting there, it looks to me like the Honda of Damon Rees is got up on the inside going into the Christchurch Casino corner. So fireworks are plenty. Not so much out the front with Cam Hudson having it all his own way at the moment. It's a long race, a 20-lap race. We've got 18 laps to go, but second, third, fourth, fifth and sixth, all anybody's game. Where is that machine of Aaron Hassan? He's in 6th place there. He was amongst this group last time, the first of the Suzukis, with Dan Mettam being sidelined, but he's got the ability to reel in these people as well in the 5 bikes there in 2nd to 6th.
All right, you get the idea. You've got to have a bit of a 1-2, a slight back, just as we say that. Alex Phillips looking to try and pull out the buffer. The 20-lapper is going to be crucial. But I tell you what, it's going to be hard to reel in this man in front, because A, he's local, and B, he knows what he's doing around here, and he's also very fast, and already comes with the confidence of having done this in the past. So great work out there. The letter A of Alex Phillips, courtesy of Mahi Capital and Helicraft. A huge thanks go to Rob and the team from Helicraft. That was extended by Alex when we did our post-race interview for the previous event for this Dynaworks sponsored 600cc Supersport class, part of course of this fabulous Underground Brown sponsored New Zealand Grand Prix event, with the Grand Prix titles up for grabs. The race within the race for the Grand Prix title in New Zealand Grand Prix. Should we ever dream of maybe having any form of a Grand Prix in road racing status, well, of course, it may be the... Oh, there we go.
Damon Rees, I was just going to say, he's the fastest man on the track. He comes out of the hairpin and a huge high side. He is getting up. He's okay. That was a huge moment for Damon Rees on the number 9 bike. He was the fastest man on the track and starting to reel in Alex Phillips. So the main thing is he is moving around. And that's a bit of a drama. We go out to the front there, and it is Cam Hudson there in the lead there, still coming round.
Red flag.
A red flag situation for the Rees team.
And the reason for that, in fact, I thought he'd actually gone to the other side of the track. I'm now seeing in the silhouette the fact that the riders are on the other side, away from us, and that's where he is. So he is actually lying on the track right there at the moment. So that's why it's gone to a red flag. That was an obvious choice. I thought for a moment he'd gone off to the side of the track, and the riders... What has been now 4 races for 1 complete. So this is the second attempt at our class, and a gap there on the front row with Damon Rees not making it back to the start line. We wish Damon all the best for a speedy recovery. Great news is that he was not too badly injured in that fall, but hey, I'm sure he's still going to be feeling a bit of pain after all. And when he looks at his bike and his pride and joy, and he raised his own money, I think a road bike, the 600 bought at the end of 2014, I think something like 20 or 30, 40,000 Ks on the clock, unusual. Oh, Alex Phillips, oh, bad luck, and hit by another bike as well as it went past. Oh, bad luck, stalled at a time, man. And the others, of course, you're sitting there on the start, your eyes are down, you're ready to look up, you're just watching for the lights are over on one side, and when you get away again, and there we go. So part of the bike there is off, and more importantly for Alex to get away. Oh, drama, and the race is only metres old, and he's looking down at the bike, still can't...
Lost the foot peg. Wendy Ashmore guy picked up that foot peg, so drama, plenty of pole position. Now what they've done is, because it was a restart, they looked like they were awarded half points for that, and they re-gridded up not how they qualified over the weekend, but how they went back to the last count on the last lap. So that's why Alex Phillips was on pole position, but that's all in the history now, because unfortunately Alex sidelined, and the good thing is he will get half points for that earlier part of the race. And the main thing is, if you get your foot peg whacked off by another bike, how is your foot? But his foot seems to be all right. The marshals out there picking up 3 or 4 bits. They went 25, maybe 30 metres down the track. So let's get out to what's happening on the track, and it is Dan Metum out there leading. They're going in towards the dipper for the first time. Cam Hudson on the Yamaha in second place. Shane Richardson, 28th bike there in third, and I think that is, Jeremy Holmes. Good, this is better luck for the Southland Honda rider. Jeremy Holmes in a box seat there in 4th spot. We go back, I can't quite see. It may be Ted Collins, and is that even Biggles there? Way up there. No, Biggles is about 7th or 8th position, so we'll get them through the start-finish line, but it is Dan Metum on the 34th.
Aaron Hassan probably there with those right numbers, I would suggest. Check out for the number 14 back in there, and yes, there he is, making his move at the moment right alongside him. Great to watch Aaron, and going for it.
Well, look at that, 1,000th of a second between Aaron Hassan and Ted Collins going through there, so that's it. He got the drive out of that hairpin and got the slipstreaming come back. So there it is, Aaron Hassan on a charge, but meanwhile it's a Suzuki out the front. Suzuki, Yamaha, Kawasaki. Ain't the colours good this weekend in this particular class? Hard to pick up in some other classes, but we've got Suzuki, Yamaha, Kawasaki, then Honda. Then we go back to Aaron Hassan and the Australian lad Ted Collins. Now, earlier on in the day, before he had his crash in the first race, he had Grandma along the side of the bike, and I went up to the pit crew and said, why Grandma? Is that his nickname? And says, no, Grandma Jeanette bought the bike. So big ups to Grandma sitting there in Australia watching on the Ctas live timing. Of course, that's disappeared off the bike as they put some other fairings on there. The good thing is he's out there. He was carrying a bit of an injury in his wrist and wearing a wrist, an ice pack on that early in the day. But Ted Collins from Australia, good on you for being back out there, out to the front. And there's 4 to 5 bike links between Dan Metum and the number 61 bike, Cam Hudson. New Zealand Grand Prix, 20 laps it started off. We're down to a 17-lap race for the restart. And Shane Richardson in a good solid 3rd place. place with the Honda of Jeremy Holmes there in fourth. Jeremy Holmes has been out there in the front of New Zealand Superbike Championship races before. Had some tough luck all season. In fact, started off the weekend with a bit of his airbox being sucked through and going through the meeting, the motor, and that's a hell of a annoying thing to happen, an expensive thing early on in the piece, but they go through for another fine lap there. Number 34, number 61, number 28, number 10, and we've got number 14 going through there. Aaron Hassan putting in the fastest lap there, just getting faster and faster on the 1:33.087, so I expect big things from the number 14 rider, the brother of New Zealand Superbike current champion Jaden Hassan. Cam Hudson poked his nose through the front there, but it looks like to me that 34's come back in there. They go through the Icon corner into the hairpin. Hudson on the outside of Dan Medham. He's going to go right round the outside, try to tuck it. What an absolute amazing move. Yeah, he does it.
Oh, unbelievable. I just thought he was going through there to make sure he kept it honest and kept him tight on the corner. They would come out side by side. You would not believe that he could go through and overtake in that position. So great to see as we check them all out at the moment. So brilliant races that unfolds in front of us as we look out through our Dynoworks 600 Supersport class, and watching out there as we go to Dan Medham, go to Cam Hudson with Shane Richardson in there. And what about it though with when you take the age of Ted Collins and Aaron Hassan, those two, one of them 16, the other is 17, the future of our sport on these brilliant Dynoworks 600cc Supersport machines, and there they are, 16 and 17 years of age. Our sport looking very good heart with these young guns to come through.
Okay, on the charge now, Cam Hudson's gone through into the lead over and above number 34, and that is Daniel Medham from Auckland. Had a crash in the first race today and was sidelined. That would have been half points gone for him. Everyone else got half points for that. He couldn't start the second one. And we've also got Connor London on the number 99 machine back out. He had a massive crash yesterday and almost destroyed a bike. Couldn't get out there again, but he's back out on the track on the number 99 WOL Sports Management Team. A 1:33.245 for Cam Hudson, a man on a mission. The lap record for the 600 Supersport is John Ross, set back in 2011, and that's a 1:32.136. We saw a 1:32.3 yesterday, but lap time's a little bit lower. I was out there. In fact, the wind's changed direction now. It has changed direction, and the wind is dropping outside, so expect faster lap times. And looking over to the hairpin, Cam Hudson's made a bit of a break. He's got maybe 70, 80 metres over and above the Suzuki, so it's still Yamaha, then Suzuki. Shane Richardson on the Kawasaki, the Honda in behind, and that bike of Aaron Hassan, the number 14 machine, reeling him in. Lonely ride there for Ted Collins in sixth place. We go back to Connor London, Conzi, and he's in seventh spot there. Great ride there from Marcus Beagley on the Biggles Racing machine there, and number 80 as well. Steve Bagshaw flew down from Wellington, and I see he being his pit assistant this weekend as well.
Nice one.
Yeah, no, it's great to see. And another one of the guys from the Vic Club out there helping. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but it'll come back to me shortly.
All right, there we go, watching our riders as they go through the dip of the Cam Hudson show. Yes, indeed. Come on, Canterbury. This is your event. You own it. It is the New Zealand GP. We've raced it here in Canterbury for nigh on 70-odd years, so please, let's hope it can continue and long and hard. But we've got a Canterbury man here in the front at this stage, Cam Hudson. We've seen some other visitors come in and steal the show, but look at this for the advantage for the local man. Cam Hudson looking all the class and pretty smart out there. 61 in your program, courtesy of Trooper PS, Yamaha, Nationwide Accessories, Pirelli Tyres, Race Supplies, Warren Hudson, aerial and telephone. So go Cam, good work out there as we check out Daniel Medham in the second place. Go to Shane Richardson with Jeremy Holmes, Aaron Hassan and Ted Collins, the young 16-year-old Australian rider ahead of Connor London out of Taupo, courtesy of Will Sport with Marcus Begley and Royd Walker-Holton there, the number 12 for the former Pro Twin champion, courtesy of Pirelli, Shirai Helmets, iPhone Oils, EBC Brakes, RST Leathers and AGV. The young Aucklander Royd Walker-Holt making a name for himself. Great to see him stepping up to the 600s, and it is a massive step up. And unfortunately with the crash of Damon Rees, that step up hasn't gone as well for young Demon Damo, but we wish him a speedy recovery, as his girlfriend Talia arriving tomorrow for the road trip to Queenstown on their way to Invercargill for next week. So hopefully a good recovery this week. But he's got his very capable mechanic and brother Mitch to do the driving on board, so they should be fine as mum and dad head back home to look after the business in Whakatane before flying back again to Invercargill next weekend. So that's what it's like when you're in this game. You're a self-employed, hard-working people that you've still got a business to run, so flying in and out of the North Island, South Island, on it. Those guys will have more air points than the Queen's Got Miles on the Britannia. So great to see. All right, so Cam Hudson and Daniel Medham, Shane Richardson, the show right on here, Spider Stables.
Yeah, the top three guys in the last lap all set their fastest lap of the race, so getting faster and faster. Cam Hudson spread out a little bit. There's a dice going on there for second spot there. It still is Dan Medham. Shane Richardson not quite close enough to get into the slipstreaming. The battle is on for 4th and 5th place, and it was Jeremy Holmes went through there 36 thousandths of a second ahead of Aaron Hassan. Once again, Aaron Hassan seems to get the slipstream, and that's paid off for him. He's made the pass going into turn 1, and increasingly this Suzuki is faster than the Honda. So Suzuki in second place, Suzuki in 4th place, but Jeremy Holmes starts to reel him in through the Icon corner. There's a battle going on there. They have spread out a little bit, and I'll tell you who's closing in on the leader too is Cam Hudson. Seems to be either slowing, or Dan Medham seems to have closed that little gap up. We saw 0.9 of a second as they went through the start-finish stripe.
So that was the result of the race 1 or race 2 stoppage, was the Daniel Medham crash. And here's Daniel missing that last race, but here he is. He comes back out now, and here he is as if there's nothing's gone wrong. These guys absolutely invincible. Courage to the max, Spider, because you'd think they'd be jaded, somewhat setback by thinking, oh, here I've just had a crash and I'm going to be a little bit slower than I was. No way. Daniel Medham probably keeping more honesty to Cam Hudson than the other field did around him before. So it's as if he just slots straight back into where he was from the previous race before he crashed. Incredible courage.
Well, despite being only, I think, 19 years old, I got reminded the other day, Dan Medham has had probably 5 or 6 years experience at the New Zealand Superbike level, especially on the 125s, then moving up to the 600. He also went and did the not the European Duke Cup, the Red Bull Rookies, was it?
Oh, that's
some
right.
years ago in Europe and that, and he just kept on fire, kept on at it, went and got a job at Coleman's K Road and just lives for motorcycle racing, and lovely kid to have around here as well. And you know, absolutely special on the track. And right now Cam Hudson slowed that little bit up. He's swung 33.399 last lap, and still Daniel Medham and Shane Richardson doing their best lap of the race so far. 33.362 for Shane Richardson, just 18 thousandths of a second slower. Daniel Medham, as we look them out and on the track, a big wheelie there coming out of the Icon corner for Daniel Medham. They close up going into the hairpin. Still 61, the Trevor Pearce motorcycles. Cam Hudson, the local man, won 2 races this weekend. Can he make it to New Zealand Grand Prix? And 3 out of 3.
I tell you what's a great thing here, and it's great to see our manufacturers getting a nice distribution amongst us. We had one stage in the previous race where the first 5 were on 5 different makes and models of motorcycles, and that's great to see when you've got a domination by one bike. Yeah, we know in the superbikes, Suzuki all the way, and why shouldn't it be with a more dominant motorcycle? But in the 600 class, they were that bit closer together, and that's exactly what we're seeing. Under the livery of a bit of a paint job, the Trevor Pearce Yamaha, looking distinctive, and I can tell you what, as far as commentators are concerned, I love the Cam Hudson paintwork, because there's nothing like it. So straight away and amongst everybody, you spot Cam Hudson. So he gets more credits than many others lap by lap, because we know exactly who it is, rather than saying, oh, could it be? And we know with the red bikes, has it been Damon, has it been Jeremy, has it been Alex? Because they've all been on red bikes, and the same in the supers, where we've had Tony and James and Alistair as well. So a little bit of a mix and match of those guys with manufacturers. So great to see. There we go. It is the Cam Hudson show. Out in front, Daniel Medham in second place. Go to Shane Richardson. Now to the 14. There he goes to young Aaron Hassan, the man at only 17 years of age, and just 17 as old as Jacob Stroud, who sits next to us here in the commentary box, who's waiting for his race coming up shortly. And then we're going back to Jeremy Holmes. Good run from him. And Ted Collins, although back there a little bit further, I tell you what, an outstanding display. And the presentation of that bike, I actually think they've made it look better than it had done before. So those guys working over there, those mechanics, they need to take a bow, because doing a mega job over there, Spider, to make sure these guys get their machines back on the track. We're talking about crashing. We're not just talking about dropping it. It's not a dirt bike where you can pick it up and it might have one scratch and nothing wrong with it. These guys are getting their fairings pounded. Of course, the handlebars are more susceptible. You've got a lot more finesse and parts. For example, the footrests are just narrow and thin. They're not a big sturdy unit. You've got your levers, which of course are tucked in there just to do the job, and you lose one of those, well, you're not controlling your bike as well. So those guys do an amazing job, and the way they work and get these bikes on the racetrack, full credit to them out there.
And one of the big problems with modern bikes is season. Wow, look at that. We're coming across that. No, that was a pass by Dan Medham going through there. That was a big ball pass, and Cam Hudson came back in. This is 2 corners before the dipper, but he's made it stick. Looking at Jeremy Holmes, he's dropped about 2.5 seconds a lap, and Dan Medham down into the 32s. In fact, fact, his last time was a 32.633. Cam Hudson in second place. First place then was a 133.172. But it has changed on the track. They are coming across lappers. It is Dan Medham down through the start-finish line. Cam Hudson can't quite get close enough to slipstream it. And in the box seat there, watching it all, is the number 28 machine of Shane Richardson there, still in a hot and capable third place. He's still possible to wheel in the leaders as well.
Oh, indeed. In fact, look to him to stay with him. And maybe is this our podium already? I tell you what, we've got 9 laps to go. And barring any incidences, it'll be a very good top 3. But I tell you what, it's not over. Here comes Cam Hudson. He looks so good coming down Icom into the HPE hairpin. Once again, will he show the dive that we'd seen from him earlier? Is there a gap on the inside? No, there's not. Oh, a lap rider, congratulations, saying, you guys are racing. I'm getting right out of your way. I love that for sportsmanship. You do not have to do that. You do not have to say, all you've got to do is hold your line, but he knew he was right in the way, and he says, guys, I'm out here. Now he puts the gas back on and says, I'll rejoin in the race. That is fine, and that man, as they say, give that man a tui. That is sensational. As we look out to update through the Christchurch Casino carousel at the moment, and we are whipping right around on the carousel, goes right back around on itself. In fact, there's a point where it's almost a full circle. It's a question mark backwards where you come right around through the Southern Salvage S's, and there we go at the moment with Medham. Look at that, you see Hudson, he wanted to have a go, wanted to have a look, realising that Medham was holding good speed through the corner. Wasn't going to be an opportunity to do so, because that puts Daniel right on the apex of the corner, the gap that exactly Cam wants to steal to get back there. And as all this goes on, Shane Richardson looking closer, and I would say if you could make a comparison to where they were at this time a lap ago, look for Shane Richardson. In fact, I'm going to say that he's probably had a quicker lap than what Cam Hudson will have had over this next lap, and we're only literally a few seconds away from that update, and we'll get an idea. So there we go, Medham across the line, Hudson right behind him. There's the Shane Richardson show, and to look for a time last lap, 133.4, 133.2, sorry, 133.1. So no, I was slightly out, but you get the idea that it's so close down there with those top 3. And there we go, almost touching paint with those first 2 through Flexipass, out through Castrol Edge, down towards Icom this time, and it is a great show on in. Here we go again. Oh, look at that, wheel to wheel, front wheel to back wheel. They were almost touching rubber that time. They come down. Oh, one off there. One off on the hairpin. You can just see the dust settle. One off on the hairpin. You've just caught that little puff of dust. We just see it at the end. One off, and it looks like to be facing in the opposite direction. And he's going to go back over to his bike. It's right here on the outside. In fact, it's on the grass. That's where the dust has come from. So I don't think it'll be a problem. And Spider's looking.
Yeah, Reece Wilkinson in the Super Sport B class. The main thing is up there, as Neil Ritchie said, he was going back to pick up his bike. But that slowed the leaders up because they get a yellow flag. They're not allowed to pass. But they've bunched back up there. And right now, Marcus Beagley putting in his fastest lap of the race.
Look at this great work by the marshals over here, and the rider for Reece as well. He should be congratulated for that. His prime concern is to make sure he gets his bike right back out of the way. Look at that. Well done to that man. There's another good bit of sportsmanship. Yes, these are B riders. They're lesser level of calibre of racing riders, but they're oh so good in what they're trying to do. And look, all he wants to do is get his bike out of the way. He does not want to cause an interference to the others. Take a bow out there. So first of all, it was Nick King-Turner with his goodwill gesture, and now we've seen it out there as well by a second of those. So good on you guys. Here we are. Look at them coming along the straight here at the moment. Nothing in it, just bike lengths as we coming down. 34.91. The margin at the moment is a 0.121. That is a fraction over 1/10 of a second. Click your fingers. It takes you longer to do that than it does to have the distance between Daniel Medham and Cam Hudson, and going oh so well there. Times at the moment, look out for that last lap, and Daniel was in fact a fraction slower. Cam's the one on the comeback. Then we're going to look out for Shane Richardson. When you look at all of them with the best time there at the moment, it's actually Daniel Medham, the only one to have broken the 133 by best time at 133.6. So Daniel Medham fighting his way back, and the courage of this young man. Hey, he's already had a crash, the 19-year-old here today, and here he is now fighting his way back to be in contention. And this is what we talk about with a GP title. Maybe if it was just another points race and there's still 3 rounds to go, Spider Stables, you wouldn't be fighting like this. But hell, this is a true national title coming up. It's worthwhile putting a slide on the line and risking it to come through and be #1 in the GP.
Oh, definitely. We've got 7 laps to go, and we're sort of coming out of the carousel. Another lapper there to contend with. He puts his hand up. One goes on the inside, one goes on the outside. That's not a bad move from the lapper.
Oh,
no. Wow, that was a great move. Attempt by Cam Hudson. He's done it before. He tries to get through. In fact, this is where Dan Medham passed him a little bit earlier. But we've got Cam Hudson still absolutely on fire. Comes out of the dip. He gets a bit of a better drive than... There's 3 bike lengths between them as they go into the big Rock FM sweeper coming onto the front straight. Shane Richardson's got past that lapper okay. He's dropped off the pace a bit. There's probably 2 seconds between them. But eyes are on the front. There's a half a bike, maybe 2 bike lengths in it. They go through the start-finish stripe. 165 thousandths of a second. Cam's dropped into the 134. Dan's is 133.983. Actually, there's only 30 thousandths of a second between those two.
Wow, great to watch Daniel Medham. Cam Hudson looking out for Shane Richardson. Aaron Hassan further back. Jeremy to go through. Could be a change, could be a change. We can look out for it. No, still the advantage for Dan Medham. Now this is a part. Watching it down through here. It's called Pothole. Now been rebranded as Icon. Your two-way radio signal specialist. Proud to sponsor here at the Mike Perry Motorsport. Up on the inside for Cam Hudson into the air pit. But remembering last time he went too wide and allowed it open, he's got it. Yes, he's got it back. Come on, Canterbury. You've all been a bit quiet here today, folks. As the southerly breeze dies away, we'd see it change around a little bit towards the east before. The wind is definitely dying down. I've been told by local Canterbury people that it'll be better here at the end of the day, so look out for that. No, there hasn't been any rain, so there's no worries about that. The track temperature is probably the lowest it's been in the last 3 days, but still good traction out there. In fact, you'd call it close to an ideal track right at this very point in time, with some cloud cover here in Canterbury for this, the ultimate, which is the New Zealand Grand Prix. And there it is, back with the Hudson and Medham show. Is this one over yet? How many other changes are we going to get? Hey, we've still got 5.5 laps to run on this one, so there's plenty of opportunity. The dipper here to come. Remembering this is where Medham made his move earlier on Cam Hudson. Wasn't going to get away with it that time. So and look at though that Shane Richardson, he's dropped a lot further back this time. I think he's just realised, hey, are those guys going to be that close together that they might come to harm? If I'm that close, I can get caught up with it as well. And just for consistency, maybe the pit board's telling him, mate, you are smoked. You've got a 6-second advantage over fourth place. So give that young Wainui joinery man a hand on his Kawasaki and say third place for a GP title will be his best ever credit in New Zealand road racing. Spider Stables.
Oh, definitely on the closed circuits. Remember, he got a second at the cemetery circuit last year in his first ever race there at the cemetery circuit. They also, I mentioned it a couple of times before, he sidelined himself before the season even started. The biggest thing that young Shane Richardson from Wainui has got to learn here is he doesn't have the experience everyone else out there, and you can't win a season on the first corner or the first lap. So he's learning, slowly catching monkey. Learning, and I say slowly, he's still in a mighty third place. Cam Hudson set his fastest lap of the race. He's dropped down to the 1:32.575, so he's just getting faster and faster. It shows out on the track as they pass another lapper just before the Carosino.
0.4 a second off lap record, by the way, Spot. That is super fast.
That's the wind dropping, isn't it? That's a lap record that's been held since 2011 by the current superbike rider John Ross. Was racing the 600 class as well. So Cam Hudson, I saw a big article in the local Christchurch press about how he's got big things in front of him this season. Well, they're right out there on the track at the moment and doing oh so well. We've got 5 laps of the race to run. Yamaha out in the front, followed by the Suzuki of Dan Medham, the number 34 machine, the 28th machine of Shane Richardson, sponsored by Wainui joining Miritone Paint and a whole host car. Boyle Kawasaki and Kawasaki New Zealand, also Motorrad Kawasaki supporting him as well. I think Boyle might be out of the picture at the moment, but still putting in a strong show. A 1:32.575 the last lap for Cam Hudson. Slowed off that little bit, but certainly enough paced 0.7 of a second quicker than second place, so he's going to hold on to it at the moment. Just 4 laps to go for the New Zealand Supersport 600 TT class, and we haven't even really mentioned the Supersport B class, and I think the quickest one out there is Dennis O'Connor lying in 10th place right behind Rod Walker Holt on the MB Gusta 675. So they're not separated on our screen in which class they're in, so I think it's Dennis O'Connor followed by Daryl Grayson there in second place and Dave Newham third. That is the Supersport B class, so action aplenty here. Lap 13 of 17 laps. We've had a restart, they regridded up, and out there on the track as well. Jacob Stroud's going to disappear because he's up next. And what's happening to Jeremy Holmes? He's still sitting in a solid 5th place, just behind Aaron Hassan. In fact, he's, well, it says 24 seconds behind, so he's having a lonely race. So tough times for Jeremy Holmes.
He too is 10 seconds in front of Ted Collins, so he's just saying, hey, I'm coming. That's a guy, I'll tell you what, if you want to throw bad luck or invent bad luck, what are you going to say? Dropped a bit here, found a bit there, shouldn't have done that, something happened on the track, not my fault. Yeah, that's the man that does it. I tell you what, he's accumulated so much of it. All we keep enheartening him is to say, well, you know, it's just got to run out. Bad luck can only last so long, and all of a sudden he'll hopefully be able to string it together with a run of good luck, because it's just one of those things. They come in threes. Well, he can have 3 of them at any one event. We know he's a Mr. Nice guy. We know his credits. We've seen him in front of championship races in the past, and long may it continue. Go Jeremy Holmes, we love Southland.
Home track advantage next weekend. Yes, don't forget the famous pizza night at Southland Honda next Thursday night to go and meet the riders and meet some of the pit crew, and of course get some free pizza, and I think there's usually a couple of beers to be had as well, so don't forget that. So it'd be good to see Jeremy Holmes back up in the front where he should be on the Southland Honda next weekend on his home track. Where to drive, the man can do it. He's just got to get the right pace on the right weekend.
Oh, lappers now, look at that, lappers coming into it. See, oh, see that? Having to slow up and now speed up, and and all of a sudden go in there, and there's Daniel. There's a lap between them, one complete a lap rider between them, and out of the corner there's Cam. Look at that, he's now got two of them in front of him, two in front. He's got that one. Effectively that's the outside, because that's the left-hand king, and now he's going to come through the next one and follow the leader. Daniel Medham is, when you look across there at the moment, there are 6 riders, but only 2 of those are on the leading lap at the moment. The other 4 are out on the lap. Then you got a gap back, and that is now the man in 3rd place. So if you look at that whole group, you'd think that Shane Richardson at the moment is in 7th place. No, he's in 3rd with 4 of those other riders. But already it's Cam Hudson to lead them at the moment. This unknown, this undetermined, this undetermined rider. Whoa, there we go.
Dan Medham off into the grass, and another rider down. The other rider is up, but Dan Medham's gone off in the grass. Now the drama's going to be here for the judges, because he's had to rejoin the track. He couldn't rejoin it where it is, but the main thing is he stayed upright. That's not his first excursion off, but I don't know whose fault that was. They were right behind the scene, but that other bike lying on the track, the yellow flag will come out, and lucky. Now they're going to have a bit of a judgment there, because he didn't gain anything by going across the grass, but certainly it's one of those things the judges will have to have a look at. Cam Hudson goes through there. That's given him a good break. I don't know whether his pit crew would have worked that one out in time to put the pit board out, so it's now 3.7-second gap. The big thing Cam Hudson's got to do is not have too much pressure. There's 2 laps to go. He knew that the gap was closing between him and Dan Medham. No lappers in front of him. He's just got to keep a cool head and keep on going. And speaking of cool heads, that Dan Medham, mate, he rode that beautifully through the infield.
Oh, mate, speaking about in the infield, these marshals doing an absolutely marvellous job. They're doing it in conjunction with the marshals. They're doing it safe. They're using their common sense. That looks like an MV Augusta that's gone down there.
That was the leader of the Super Stock B. The leader, that was Dennis O'Connor. But the important thing, he's up and is okay. So now we've got the 2 MVs parked up there. I wonder if they talk about swapping foot pegs, because Alex Phillips can get a new foot peg and possibly go out in the Bears race later on in the day. Well, that's the nature of the beast, isn't it? I don't know that number 76...
2 MV Augustas in the same race in New Zealand. That is a real credit for a start. We've got that calibre of machinery entered on our doorstep, Spider, so great to see. Yes, indeed, Dyno Works, of course, your proficient Dyno Jet, Dyno Power Supply Mapping and Power Commanders, jetting specialists, motorcycles, quads and car tuning at home at Honda Country in East Street, Ashburton on 03309 2030. You'll love the guys down there. That is Andrew Brendan. Brendan, of course, is the man behind the business, but Andrew Rudd, and I've got to say to Andrew, winning King of the Port as well, Spider, Andrew Rudd, and won it on a motard machine, giving you an idea of the deteriorating weather conditions at Nelson last Saturday. But hey, good to, hey, we've done this one because we've got a white flag, and here we go. White flag, good to see. There's Shane to go past, so Cam now the advantage, 5.1 seconds, back to Daniel Medham, who is a further 0.9, only 0.9, so a fraction under 1 second back to Shane Richardson. Does Shane Richardson feel that opportunity? Will he reflect on the fact that he dropped back a little bit during that race, because with the hiccup for the fallen MV Augusta rider, Spider, we then had, of course, the detour that we had to see Daniel make, and he would have, if we'd seen Shane that little bit closer, maybe he could have got 2nd place instead of the 3rd that he settled for at the moment.
Well, Richardson's in the 33s in that last lap. Dan Medham's about a quarter of a second behind in the 34s. In fact, look at them going to the Fulton Hogan. I can tell you what, Shane Richardson can smell 2nd place here. He can smell 2nd place. The gap closes up. There was probably 80 metres in it. There's now 25 metres. They go into the Christchurch Casino Carousel. Sorry about the talking Swahili, it's just so exciting up here, but Shane Richardson can reel this man in possibly. There's probably 40 metres now. Cool head, level head, don't blow it, mate. We've got to do that. In fact, speaking of not blowing it, Cam Hudson coming into the dipper there, right up on a back marker. He didn't need to pass that back marker, so he slowed up just that little bit. All eyes are on Cam Hudson to take his 3rd win of the weekend in the New Zealand Grand Prix title, and I think Dan Medham has got it signed off for the 2nd, although Shane Richardson closes up as they go through the Rock FM corner. 61, Cam Hudson, you are a winner of the New Zealand Grand Prix. Here comes Shane Richardson. Can he do it? No, he can't quite do it. 5 to 6 bike lengths. In fact, it's 0.172 of a second. Wow, Dan Medham, to come back from a crash this weekend and to come back from that frightening excursion off into the grass and cut a couple of corners out of the thing. Well, congratulations to young Dan Medham. As I say,